How can Black men create some of those pockets for themselves? I know we talked about perfect push-ups, doing push-ups. Like, what are some things that you've seen? I don't know if you're working with a lot of Black men specifically, or what are some things that you've seen or think would work for Black men to create some pockets for themselves, whether it be at home, at work, wherever they are?
I think there is power in leaning into the things that you're already doing.
Okay.
When people are anxious and they're depressed and they're trying to figure it out, adding to their plate is like the last thing that they need.
Right.
So like I lean more into the things that they already enjoy doing. So like if you're someone who watches sports all the time, you know, okay, well go dribble a ball, like go throw the football around or something, even if it's to an empty space. Or like I have one of my clients, I noticed that they take their sessions outside. It's a male client. So they will be talking to me and they will be like walking and they just enjoy that. So I asked them, I wonder what it would look like when you're anxious and we don't have a session if you go for a walk. So I'm very person-centered and I tap into the needs and the functionality of the person that I'm speaking to.
Right.
But I feel like it's important for Black men to pay more attention to themselves.
Talk about that. Yeah, let's get into it.
Pay more attention to your own personal habits. Like, what do you like? What do you do in your day? What puts a smile on your face?
You know why I think that, and I don't want to play devil's advocate here, but I think it's important to bring this up because I know some Black man is probably thinking, bro, what do you mean, right? Yeah, I know you know, exactly. What the hell are you talking about? What I like? Right, like, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's because we've been conditioned so long to be worried about what everybody else likes that it's so hard for us to sit down and think about what do I actually like that doesn't have anything to do with everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a real like crisis I was in at one point in time. Like I was so worried about my girl being good, family being good, brother being good, sister being good, friends being good, that if you asked me what I actually liked, I would tell you what everybody else liked because that's all I was doing. And I didn't actually have an understanding of what I was actually passionate about, what I actually like to do, because I had never really been able to spend that time doing those things by myself, for myself. Things that happens when we try to carry that torch by ourselves is that we deal with burnout.
Yeah.
Can you first of all explain what that is for the Black man that's like, what the hell you mean burnout? Because I feel like there's a lot of Black men that are burnt out right now.
Yeah.
And they just haven't been able to identify what that actually is.
Yeah. I personally compare burnout to overwhelm.
Okay.
So I use the term overwhelm more because overwhelm is when your brain nor your body is capable of making a decision and you are so depleted that you aren't even able to ask for what you need. Like you're not even able to identify your next steps. And I feel like, I don't know if burnout is as like grounding, like to the bottom as overwhelm. And overwhelm is a time period. It has a time on it. And I know that people can be burnt out for periods of time. And because Black men are Black men, I'm gonna just push through, I'm gonna move through. They're probably sitting in burnout for weeks and months at a time. With overwhelm, you literally are stuck. You're like, I'm not getting out the car, I'm not picking up the phone, I'm not doing anything else. And I think that how that shows up in Black men is isolation. Yeah. Start isolating themselves.
So for the Black man that's there right now, that's like, dang, this is me. How does he navigate that? Like what are some things that he can do to get past that or through that?
Well, can we be there for a second?
Let's do it.
Like, can we just be in the fact that I don't know what to do right now?
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay.
I think that because men are men, they want to be fixers, right? So you want to automatically, like, even your question was
like, what's the solution? I need a solution, right? Ariane, like, you're talking about overwhelm. How do we get to the solution? Come on now. I'm talking about be there. No, how we get this? How we get out of here, right? Nah, I got you. I got you. Go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
like you have to admit that you're there.
Okay.
Because again, as you were talking about communicating needs, identifying needs, I don't think that Black men spend enough time sitting still to be able to identify their needs, similar to like what they like and dislike.
Right.
So my challenge to you, if you're like listening to this podcast or any post from Expressions of Black Men, and you're like, this is me, take a second. How do you identify with that?
Right.
What makes you relatable to that content that's coming out? How is those words that you're reading or what you're listening to mirror what your experiences are? What are the similarities?
Right.
That's a great question.
Right.
What are the similarities?
Right.
If you start with your own similarities, then we can move into what to do next.
When it comes to affirmation, is that we haven't been affirmed enough. Like this conversation came up in a panel. It's just that us as Black men, like we grow up and people are just like assuming you should just be doing everything you're doing regardless.
Yeah,
you're a
for
provider, so provide and provide quietly and shut up and do it, right? So I'm not gonna affirm you for doing the things that I'm expecting you to do anyway, right? You know what I'm saying, right? And that's our lived experience, right? So like asking people, what am I doing good at is a really good way of like manufacturing that affirmation that we all need. It's not something that is just for a certain demographic of people, right? Like Black men need affirmation. I see it on the platform all the time. That's why we throw up so many affirmations throughout the week, because we see that when we put the affirmations up, people can go in there and it resonates with them. We're telling a Black man like, yo, it's okay to not be okay, right? Or it's okay to be in this stage of your healing journey and not be further along, or don't compare yourself. Like those things are really positive and reaffirming for a lot of Black men that haven't heard those things as much or have heard the complete opposite. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man,
and that's why I talk about asking somebody who's close to you that you already know that like cares for you, loves for you. I'm not telling you to, you know, like ask a random person, but ask somebody who is going to give you a genuine answer, who cares about you enough to want you to win.
Right. No, absolutely. Absolutely, man. Like I think that's so important, is like creating a support network around you.
Community.
Yeah. And I think a lot of us as Black men struggle with that. Like we've done episodes where I've had my friends on the podcast and then I'll see comments like, bro, I need friends like yours. And I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, so how do we as Black men create community that we can actually feel comfortable relying on? Because that was obviously a theme of the conversation earlier. Sometimes we don't feel comfortable talking to certain folks. So how do we create community where we feel comfortable relying on those folks and then having those deep conversations? Because a lot of us don't have real vulnerable conversations with our friends.
Facts. I really believe that we got to start showing up as the people that we want.
You know, I like that.
So a lot of Black men talk about like, oh, well, I don't know where I'm supposed to go, or, you know, these people don't invite me here, or, you know, we talk about stuff, but we don't really talk about stuff like that. And it's like, how about you show up as the person that you know the space needs? Why don't you throw a deep question out there or see what's going on, or you send an invitation. Like, bro, let's go all get, you know, meet up real quick. I need some community.
You know,
because if we don't ask for what we want and need, kids, so how are we gonna get there? Like it's our responsibility to ask for what we need. It can't be anybody else's.